what? But I should vote for Stevenson. I don't like him. He's, yeah, but he's a Democrat. But why should I vote for him? Because they are the party of the poor, and we're poor. And I said, well, who the hell wants to be poor? I'm going to be rich, and I'm voting for a Republican. I'm a Republican.
So,
Live ready, reach higher, chase the sky, beyond thinking, grow rich, you'll learn to fly.
welcome to Live Ready podcast, Beyond Think and Grow Rich, with your host, me, David R. Ibarra. And today we have a very special guest, a very close friend of mine, Lionel Sosa. Welcome, Lionel.
So glad to be with you, David. I'm telling you, I've been energized all week just thinking about coming to Salt Lake City and spending a little bit of time with you. I always feel better after any visit with you.
Well, thank you, Lionel. I feel the same way. Now, Lionel did fly in just about an hour ago from San Antonio, Texas.
Sure did. And it was a good flight, and I had an aisle seat that you booked for me, and I was in heaven.
Perfect. Well, I want to introduce a little bit about how Lionel and I became acquainted to each other, got introduced. Lionel is the author of Think and Grow Rich, A Latino Choice. Wrote this book about, 20 years ago, Lionel?
Yes, it's been about 20 years ago.
Absolutely fabulous. 17 stories, I believe, each one a story of somebody living the principle of success and what did it do for them.
Yes.
Lionel also is the author of The Americano Dream and talks a little bit about how it is to reseat your subconscious to believe you belong at the table of success and take charge of your own destiny. Would that be accurate?
I would say that would be very, very accurate. You know, both you and I are apostles of Think and Grow Rich. We read that book as young men. It changed our lives. And from that moment on, I began to think in a positive way, the way that you think today, because I learned through that book that you are the master of your own mind, and that anything that you think about a lot winds up happening, whether it's good, whether it's bad. I've heard that from you 100 times, and I first heard it in Think and Grow Rich when I was 23 years old.
Well, great. Tell us about exactly how you became introduced to Dr. Hill and the Science of Success philosophy.
Well, I was working in a neon sign shop, and my job was to draw little drawings to scale of a sign that was supposed to be built for a customer. Now, the customer would come in and would say, I need a sign, and I need it to complement my building. So I would go out, take a bunch of Polaroid shots of their building and everything, and then would actually design a sign and then draw it to scale with night lights and neon glowing and everything so it would look as good as it could look. And my office was a tiny little office right next to the office of the main salesman. This lady walks into the office of the main salesman and says, my name is Sally Pond, and I need a sign for my new school. It's going to be the School of Personal Achievement. And as they were talking, I began overhearing the School of Personal Achievement. This is, this teaches the 17 principles behind the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And she started explaining it, and I was so intrigued, I couldn't help myself. I had to tiptoe into the salesman's office and say, I got to interrupt you. I need to know more about this school. What does it do? And she said, well, we make people millionaires. We make people millionaires. 4 words. Wow. Could you make me a millionaire? Of course. You could make me a millionaire? Yes, we could make you a millionaire. How much does this course cost? $250.
Wow.
Wow, $250. I was making $1 an hour.
Uh-huh.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, this is back in 1958.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I got to get a hold of $250. So I went to my dad and I said, Dad, I need $250. He said, I'll take you to my banker and I'll vouch for you. I'm not going to co-sign because it's your responsibility and I'm not going to lend you the money,
Right.
even though I could,
Uh-huh.
but I'll go vouch for you.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the bank. We sat at the banker's office. Jim McCann was his name. I remember him clearly.
Wow.
I can see his face. And my father says, my father, by the way, had been doing his banking there for many, many years.
Right.
And he had a big deal about paying his bills on time. In fact, he had a rule. Pay it at least 3 days before it's due. And if you can, pay it in person and hand it to your banker.
Wow.
You will build a relationship.
And a reputation.
Yes, they'll remember you. And
Yeah.
then when you come in and you need some money, you can just go ask if you pay on time.
Right.
He said, credit is one of the most important things you'll ever own.
Wow.
So he said, Jim, this is my son Lionel. He needs $250 to take this course, Think and Grow Rich, and I will guarantee you this. He will pay you every cent, every penny, on time or before time. I guarantee that. Jim said, okay, that's good enough for me, Robert. We went out. A lady wrote me out a check for $250. I went and I took the course. 17-week course. At that time, Napoleon Hill was franchising these schools across the country, and there was one right in downtown San Antonio. It was actually 19 weeks because one was introduction and the last one was to, everybody.
Graduation.
Graduation and all that good stuff. So we, it was every Monday night from 5 to 8. And they gave you these big books and they made you go through every exercise.
Right.
For instance, the chapter on the principle on visualizing. They would actually let you, okay, now you sit in your chair and you visualize your life. Close your eyes. Okay, it's Monday morning. What does your house look like? You open your eyes and you look around and you see your room. What does it look like? Who's in bed with you? Do you have children? Walk down the open your room to your bed, the door to your bedroom, and go down the hall if there's a hall. Are there bedrooms there? Are there children in it? Go downstairs or wherever the breakfast might
Now,
be.
this was imagining something before it had occurred, so you were teaching you to see your future.
Exactly. Visualizing yourself the way you want to be in 5 years. I got ahead of myself. Thank you
Right.
Thank you for doing that. The master of the principles here. Yes. So they make you visualize your future 5 years from now. What do you look like in the mirror? You go shave. Are you in shape? Do you look good? And you know something about visualizing is when you visualize yourself in the future and you say, go look at yourself. What do you look like? You never look at yourself as ugly and fat. The mind will not allow you to do that. You always see yourself as handsome and fit.
Right.
So that's the way but that works.
Right.
Because that's the way you're visualizing yourself in the future. And anyway, I took the course, and after I took the course, it was like, wow, now I'm set. I've done my 17 weeks. What do I do now? So I started following everything that he said. Number one rule: visualize that goal.
Right.
Know that whatever your mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. Believe it, and it'll happen. Now, here I am, 23 years old. I never went to college. I was always an artist, and I believed everything that I read. If it's in a book, it must be true. It's like the Bible. When I read it, I said, this is true. If I can conceive and believe, I can achieve it. What a revelation that is when you believe it, that's a true statement. You can hear that statement and say, yeah, and not believe it. It'll be right there as an opportunity for you to do something, and some people just flick it off.
Right.
It's just, I don't believe that. There's a destiny out there, and I'm not in charge. Somebody else is in charge, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So you get into that fatalism frame of mind, and sure enough, you never make your plan. You never do the plan. You drift. Yeah, and you know more about the people that drift than anybody else in the world. You followed them.
I got to ask you something. Do you still have a copy of the program?
I don't have a copy of the program. I don't know what I did with it. I don't know when I lost it. But it's in here.
Well, I tell you this. I got a gift from Napoleon Hill's grandson.
No.
It was the typed course that he designed.
Really?
That you took.
Oh.
I will have it copied and sent to you.
Okay. I would appreciate
Typed.
that so much. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It was wonderful, and I go through it, and I thought to myself, you know what, Lionel, that course, this moment would be, it's timeless. It has not the truth. And what most people don't realize, this is not something that Dr. Napoleon Hill made up.
No.
It was something that after 20 years of discovery, given the task by Andrew Carnegie to, before Mr. Carnegie would leave this earth, to share the secret of the principles of success by interviewing the 500 most successful individuals on earth and finding out what did they do that was like items. And that became the philosophy of success, the law of success, the Think and Grow Rich book.
He condensed the ideas of all of these fabulous people that had built their own wealth and made America stronger, made their families stronger, and put them into these 17 principles that today are as relevant as they were in 1937.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the idea is that a lot of people look at Dr. Napoleon Hill and they say he was an individual that wasn't all that successful. He had his challenges, which is true, true. But I remind people, this wasn't about he invented them. He was still in the discovery.
Sure.
By the time he got through the 20 years, Dr. Napoleon Hill, when he passed a millionaire because he began to live them. But he couldn't live them until he discovered them. So, yes, he had some failures. Yes, he had some failed marriages of business and this and that. That is to be human. But the principles,
they live on.
They live on. 23 years old, you get the principles. I really want to know, okay, you got the principles. Now you're believing it, you're seeing it. When did you experience, oh my heavens, it's working? Some opportunity just came in front of me. That is my first step to that success, wealth, whatever it is that you had in your mind. What was the first step?
Well, I have come to understand that opportunity is all around us. It's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. Most people pass on the opportunities either because they don't see them or because they don't, they're a little scary. I'd rather not do that. Maybe a new job that could come along. Oh, I don't know if I could do that. I'll pass on that. Or something that they think will be too challenging for them to do. They'll pass on that. People daily pass on opportunities. I believe that there are opportunities out there, at least one a day, that if you decide that you want to do it and pursue it, that you can do whatever you want to do. One of the things that had happened while I was working at minimum wage at Texas Neon, one of the salesmen there, who was a very well-to-do individual and was doing the job just for fun, he had a large inheritance coming, and he was waiting for his mom to die so he could collect the inheritance. And he would tell his mom, "Mom, just give me the money now. Why do I have to wait for you to die? Because I can enjoy it now." He was 39 years old at the time. I don't want, you could live to 90 or 100 and I'll be an old man and I won't be able to. But Mom said, no. But I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to set you up in business. So she bought him a restaurant. And his name was Leonard, and he'd call it Mexican restaurant. He called it Leonardo's. Beautiful restaurant. Well, Leonard decided it was too much work for him to run it, so he hired a manager, and he went and worked for Texas Neon for free on commission selling signs. And he came into my office one day, and he said, "Lionel, how much do you earn?" I said, "Well, $1 an hour." He said, "I've been noticing you. You're a smart kid. In fact, you're as smart as anybody that I know. And all of the people that I know are very wealthy. I'd like to introduce you to them." "Really?" "Yeah. Every Wednesday, like school lunches and enchiladas, remember? I'll take you to my restaurant. We'll have lunch, and I'll invite one of my friends to lunch, and we'll just have lunch and talk."
Wow.
"Okay, great." And at first I was, who are these guys? Oh, he says, "All of these guys, by the way, are very wealthy. They make a lot of money." Oh, man, it was. And maybe the first 2 or 3 lunches, I was really scared. But then I started realizing these guys tell jokes, kind of the same jokes that my dad would tell. They stepped on horse shit, or they did something embarrassing, or while they were talking about theirs, they also talked about themselves as people.
Right.
And I realized that Leonard was right. Those guys are no smarter than me, because that's what he told me. "I want you to have lunch with them because you're as smart as them. You just don't know it."
Right.
So we did that. I don't remember how many weeks we did it in a row, but it must have been 12 or more until I met all of his friends. And I was introduced to some of the wealthiest and most influential men in San Antonio, who were all white, by the way. There was not a single brown guy or black guy. But they were all nice people. And they were all ordinary people with the same fear. "Oh, I fear heights." "No." "Well, I do too," stuff like that. And that got me, I think gave me enough confidence to, at the time that I heard whatever your mind can conceive and believe you can achieve, I said, well, maybe I can. So I was ready to receive and believe that philosophy because I had been given a little bit of confidence at the very beginning by my parents. Then your family gives you the initial confidence, one way or another, whether or not they know they're doing it. Oh, I think most parents know when they're doing it. When you're good at something and they say, "Hey, Lionel, you're good at drawing. Oh, put that drawing up. Let's put the drawing on the wall." "Oh, Lionel did that. Oh, yeah." So that gives you a little bit of confidence that along the way you get confidence other ways. But I was ready to receive that message and to believe it, hook, line, and sinker. I had no doubt that whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve.
So you went and got in front of business people, and you found out they had needs the same as everyone else, and that perhaps you could fulfill one of those needs. So what was the one change in position that launched you?
Well, I decided, I think I'm going to open my own art studio. I didn't have a space or anything like that, but I decided, okay, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to knock on the doors of advertising agencies and printers and say, I can do your logos, I can do your little sketches, I can do your brochures, I can do your menus, I can design whatever you need design. And so that was part of the plan. Actually, Sally Pond helped me in my initial planning of it. Open up your own studio and go and call on ad agencies and printers. They're the ones that have the work, and see what happens. But first, make your definite goal. So I wrote, I, Lionel Sosa, will own the biggest graphic art studio in Texas by the end of 5 years, and I will be earning $40,000 a year. I was earning $3,200 a year.
Right.
Big leap, more than 10 times. I've got 5 years to do it. So I wrote it down, and just like he said, I wrote it in 6 different places, and I taped it in 6 different places. Once when I shaved in the morning, and then another in the mid-morning, another one midday, and so forth. So I read it again and again and again for 3 months, just as he instructed. And then one day he says, okay, I'm going to do it. This is a breeze. So my sales pitch was, Mr. Advertising Agency owner, Mr. Ibarra, you are an ad agency, so you need a lot of artwork, and I know that there's a lot of good artists over there that you already do business with. But this is what you ought to do business with me. I will do better artwork, I will have it faster, and I will have it cheaper. Now, this is how you can test me on that. Give me any project that you have right now that you're ready to give to anybody else. I will have it back to you by 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't care how complicated it is or what it is. I will have it back for you. So I would, after work at Texas Neon, I was still working at Texas Neon.
Right.
And my boss said, Lionel, when I told him I'm going to have to quit to go into business for myself, he said, don't just quit like that. That might be too much. If you're busy 3 days, come in 2 days a week here. If you're busy 1 day, come in 4 days. If you're busy all week, don't come in at all. But you've always got a job here, and you can always work here. But that was for $1 an hour. It wasn't so anyway, very soon, so I would get the jobs. Okay, give me. I don't have anything right now. Okay, let me design a logo for somebody that you want to do business with. Let's say you want to be the ad agency for the biggest bank in town. Let me redesign their logo and a few ads for you. I'll have them back in the morning. You got to be kidding. I'll do that. All right. Frost Bank, biggest bank in town.
Yes.
We want the Frost Bank. Okay. I would go back that night after work, or sometimes I didn't work that day, and I would do several little sketches for the logo, 2 or 3 ads, and it didn't make any difference if I had to work till 3 or 4 in the morning. That was fine. At 7 o'clock, even when the door wasn't opened yet, I would just slip in the artwork under the door. By the time, and with an invoice. And the invoice was blank. Said, it'll be cheaper because you tell me what you want to pay. I'm not going to send you a bill.
Better, quicker, cheaper.
Right. better, and you decide if it's better or not. Quicker, under the door,
right.
the next day, cheaper, blank invoice. And I made 9 calls, and that was it. My career took off. From then on, it was all word of mouth. And I can kind of understand now why it worked. I think because the technique was so outrageous and you couldn't say no to it. You know, it was an offer you couldn't refuse. And but I think the other was all these big ad executives probably saying to themselves, you know, there's this Mexican kid that came in with this outrage, and this son of a gun is pretty good. Look at what he's done.
Yeah.
And pretty soon I was doing all of the other artists, I put them out of business. You know, I didn't put them out of business, but I took over a lot of their business.
So fast forward 5 years, where were you from the time you started the agency to the 5 year when your goal was to make 40,000 and to be the largest
graphic art studio
in Texas? What happened at the end of 5 years?
It happened.
Automatic.
It happened, and we beat out large graphic art studios that were in much bigger markets in Texas, like Dallas and Houston. San Antonio was not a major market in it still isn't today. It's not a major advertising market. But we became friends with a lot of good people. I had 23 artists working for me, and they were so good. They were so good. All I did, actually, I didn't do any artwork myself anymore because I hired such good kids, most of them Latino. And at that time, when I would go to ad agencies, I would actually ask some of these guys, I don't see any Latinos here. He says, well, Lionel, we can't find them.
Yeah.
You know, they don't prepare for this kind of career. So there's no Latinos out there. They said, of course there's Latinos out there that can do it. So I made it a point to, if it was a white kid and a brown kid, I gave extra points to the brown kid that came in to do the job. So I gave the Mexican kid the job if they were both just as good. If the Anglo was better, of course, I would hire them. So we had in our group of 26 or so designers, I would say that about 60% were Latino.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to pause for a minute and take a break and have a word from our sponsor. Yes, our kids can. Take a listen.
Imagine if you could have learned the principles of success as a child. At Yes, Our Kids Can, we believe it's never too early to teach our children how to achieve their full potential. The purposeful tools of Yes, Our Kids Can are designed to teach resilience, self-efficacy, problem solving, character building, and life planning. You can help your child develop the skills needed for a successful and independent adult life. All you have to do is enroll your child today.
Now, wasn't that great? Imagine passing these principles that Lionel and I have been talking about to our children from their earliest thought to age 7. So go to the link, and for just $25 membership a year, you can have 11 episodes with story time with Senior Lionel. You might wonder, is that the same Lionel? It is the same Lionel. But we're going to come back to that. I want to continue, and we're going to come back and have a separate episode about Yes, Our Kids Can. So, Lionel, You become the biggest in Texas. What next?
Make it into a full advertising agency.
Mm-hmm.
Enough of a graphic art studio. I was doing advertising work for advertising agencies. Many times we were their creative department. So one day I said, why not be an advertising agency? So that was the next goal, to become the largest advertising agency in San Antonio within 5 years.
And it happened?
It happened in 3 years.
3 years.
And we were bigger by far than all of the other agencies that had been established for 20 and 30 years or more.
So, Lionel, I know a little bit about your story. And not only did you become a large agency in San Antonio, your next step was even bigger than that.
Well, it was an obvious choice for me. We talked about opportunity before. Some people, there's an opportunity right there, and they see it, and they go with it. Others, they say no. Our advertising agency by now was the largest in San Antonio. And we did a political campaign for a U.S. Senator back in 1978 by the name of John Tower. And he hired us because he saw our work, or his staff saw our work, and they saw that two of the principals were Latinos. By that time, I had brought in partners, and we actually all had stock in the agency.
Right.
And there were two white guys from San Antonio, dear, talented friends of mine, and the other one was Lupe Garcia, my high school buddy, and myself. We had this advertising agency that was doing very, very good work, and we get a call from a U.S. Senator, John Tower. Says, we'd like to interview you so that you can be, to see if you can handle our advertising for the next campaign, for his re-election campaign. And we said, well, that's great. That's a great honor, but we have no political experience whatsoever. And we've I don't know if we're really qualified. And they said, well, let me say this. We're going to spend $13 million in 6 months.
I'm qualified.
We can do it.
Oh, cool.
So we won the account, and there's a nice story behind that if we have time. But he won, and he got more Latino votes than any Republican had ever gotten in U.S. history. Usually, Latinos vote as Democrats across the country, and it was more true at that time than it is today. But Republicans could count on about 8% of the vote, and that was it. Well, John Tower got 37% of the vote, and it was a margin of victory.
Right.
So that launched us into national prominence because the Wall Street Journal reported that we had done his campaign and that they had won because of the Hispanic vote. And John Tower got me an interview with a reporter at the Wall Street Journal,
right,
and gave me almost all the credit, which is very rare for a politician to do. Usually they win. We were just hired staff,
right,
you know, and they go on with their parties and so forth. They forget about you. Or they might see you at a reception and say hello and so forth. But he said, Lionel, you won this election for me. I want to do something for you. What can I do? I said, can you get us more business? And he said, I'll do better than that. I'll get you an interview in the Wall Street Journal, and we'll see where that goes. There I was on the front page of the marketing section. At that time, the Wall Street Journal used to do little pen and ink drawings of people's faces, and they did pen and ink drawing of me. And like that, the phone started ringing.
Wow.
National accounts focusing on the Latino consumer. I told my partners, baby, we're in heaven. Let's go with this. Let's become a Hispanic advertising agency. Right. Well, my two white buddies said, what? I'm not going to spend the rest of my career doing Spanish language ads. That's
Right.
not where I see myself. And Lupe Garcia, my partner that I started the graphic art studio with, said, I'm going to stick with these guys because we've already got business.
Mm-hmm.
You go on and do whatever you want. So they were very generous. They bought out my shares.
Mm-hmm.
With that money, I started Sosa and Associates, focusing entirely on Hispanic marketing. And then I set a new goal. In 5 years, I want to become the largest Hispanic agency in the country. It wasn't Texas anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't San Antonio anymore. It was the country. And it was just me. There's nobody else.
Right.
Nobody followed me. And so we did that. We became the largest Hispanic agency in the country. We had 130 employees.
130 employees.
Mhm.
Now, you had big national accounts like
Coca-Cola, Burger King, Procter & Gamble, American Airlines, Sprint.
how about any car companies?
No, we never did a car company. I'm sorry to say. We chased
Yeah.
General Motors, never
Yeah.
got it.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, before we're getting close to the end of this episode,
Okay.
and I want to end it by you talking a little bit about you were the ad man for several U.S. presidents.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, which ones were that? Were
Well, the first one was in 1980.
Mhm.
John Tower won his campaign in 78.
Yep.
He personally introduced me to Governor Ronald Reagan when he
Mhm.
was running for president, and we got assigned to his campaign. And Ronald Reagan, I didn't spend any more than 3 minutes with him, but he gave me more information than any other politician has ever done. Because somebody said, Governor, this is Lionel Sosa. We want to bring him on board to handle the Hispanic outreach for your presidential campaign. And he said, well, Lionel, you have a very easy job. Okay, why do you think it's going to be so easy? Just because Hispanics are
Right.
Republicans, they just don't know it. Look, they've got conservative values, just like you and me. What did your daddy teach you? I bet he taught you to be respectful, to love this country, to love Mexico, to love your family, to love God, and to have faith in everything that you do, and that the world of opportunity will open for you. Well, I'm here to open up the doors of opportunity for every American, including every Latino. You tell that in my ads, and we're home free.
Wow.
That was the end of the conversation. And it was, wow, it's going to be easy. Just
Mhm.
talk about your values, talk about what you want for your children, what your mom and dad taught you, and you think like Ronald Reagan.
Mm.
And I used that for both of his campaigns where he won the
Mhm.
Latino vote
Mhm.
by almost 40%. And then we actually were able to get it up to as high as 47% for George W. Bush.
Mhm.
We did both Ronald Reagan, both George H.W. Bush campaign. He lost the first one. He lost the second one to Clinton.
Mhm.
But then after Clinton came George W. Bush, and we had already met him through his dad and everything like that. So he hired us not only for his last governor's race, where he got 49% of the
Right.
Latino vote, but for both of his presidential campaigns. So we had 6 presidential campaigns, and 5 were winners. So
Wow. And I'll never forget, I heard you at a conference talk about how you handled George W. Bush, too. And that he wasn't particularly a articulate individual in the verbal word, but he was kind. His interaction was genuine. So you, instead of having him talk, just showed him at the picnic community, at Faith churches and children, education, happening to see him in action with every value that was important to Latino community, and it helped him win.
It did.
Presidency.
And the reason that he was so proud to have the Latino support and wanted the Latino support is because he grew up in Midland, Texas. And that's oil town of hard-working oil men, half of them Latinos that are digging the ground and getting their face dirty. So he grew up with Latinos.
Right.
He grew up learning the Spanish language. He could speak Spanish and he could even read it. And he felt very comfortable speaking it, trying to speak it. You know, if you rehearsed a little bit, he didn't need to read a script. So he wanted the Latino vote because it would help him win. Of course, that's what every politician wants. But when you're really genuine about it, when you film him talking about the Latino value, it shows.
It showed.
It shows.
Now, we're going to end this segment with something I remember and I'll never forget. As most people know, I'm a Democrat and probably would be better categorized as independent because I vote for whomever I think is the best leader. And frankly, I don't enjoy either party as far as the far right or the far left. I think they're equally as damaging to this nation.
Totally.
But I heard you say a little story, and then we'll end this segment. How did you, Lionel, become a prominent Republican?
Because I was given the opportunity.
You,
Somebody said, come on in. Would you like to try?
I want you to tell me the story. You asked your dad a question. I heard you say, you asked your dad, why are we Democrats?
Oh, yes. Okay, I was 12 years old, 1952. At that time, we bought our first television set. It was the summer of 1952. There were only 3 channels, ABC, NBC, and CBS. That's all you had. You had to turn a dial in order to turn the thing. So we put the TV out on the screen porch where we all slept because San Antonio summers are very hot. And little 12-inch Motorola, black and white like this. And we turn on the TV at night. Okay, we're going to watch TV. What was on the Republican National Convention? We turned to the other channel. Exactly the same picture. It wasn't even another camera.
Right.
It was the same. They were all working off the same visual feed with different anchors talking for their own particular network. So I was forced. I wanted to watch TV. I was forced to watch the Republican National Convention. And then 2 weeks later, it was the Democratic National Convention, and I watched that floor to floor. One was Dwight Eisenhower, who was a big hero of World War II, and the other one was Adlai Stevenson, who was a senator from Illinois.
Right.
And Adlai Stevenson, to me, was wimpy, and Eisenhower spoke like my dad. He talked about love of country, about defending this country because it was the land of opportunity for everyone and anybody could rise to be president. I love that message. And I don't remember exactly what Stevenson said, but he has something, government will help everybody that can't help themselves and all of that stuff. So at the end of both conventions, I just said, wow, I'm going to vote for Eisenhower if I could vote. I couldn't vote yet.
Yeah.
But I'm going to vote for Eisenhower. And he said, you can vote for Eisenhower? Said my mother. He's a Republican. I said, well, why? But I should vote for Stevenson? I don't like him. He said, yeah, but he's a Democrat. But why should I vote for him? Because they are the party of the poor. And we're poor. And I said, well, who the hell wants to be poor? I'm going to be rich. and I'm voting
Okay,
for I'm a Republican.
So
they never forgave me. They never forgave me.
Laugh still every time I do. I
Yeah.
said, "Well, how is your friend Lionel a Republican?" Well, his dad said he had a choice, and the Republican was the party of the rich. He says, "Well, good, then I'm joining that party because I want to be rich."
Exactly.
Lionel,
Exactly.
it has been a pleasure with our first episode. We're going to do 2 episodes because we could do 10 with Lionel Sosa. But I also want to close the program with talking about this new book, and that is Creating How Power, 28 Essential Lessons. And this is from my articles from a magazine that I have a column in. And the foreword to this new book, available on Amazon, is none other than my friend, Lionel Sosa. Now, normally I'd already give him a copy, but Lionel got a copy, the first one that was
I
off
got a copy
the
in the mail
press.
signed by David Ibarra, my wonderful, wonderful friend. I read it. I love your book.
Thank
It's
you.
a great book.
And thank you for coming on our program, and we'll have a second episode. We'll start recording in a moment.
My honor. Thank you, David.
Live ready, reach higher, chase the sky. Beyond thinking, grow rich, you'll learn to fly. With every step forward, the future is bright. Live ready for the dreamers, ignite your life.